gonna go ahead and get that recording started. So I'm so excited to be here. We have a lot to cover and we do want to respect your time. This is the first webinar like this we've done for students. We're gonna cover 6 main tricks or tips to help you prepare for your exam. Stick with us again all the way through to the end so that you can be in the running for those gift cards that we're handing out. Very excited. So just to kind of get you going, today we're going to walk through this journey of preparing for your NHA exam. Wherever you are in your process, right, we're going to look at some of the key things that you can do to get you through your studies and become NHA certified. Today's focus is on the question we're always being asked: what can I do to be sure I pass my certification exam? Well, we can't promise that you'll pass the test, but we can see the building blocks of success based on students across the country. We've looked at outcomes from all of our candidates to see what the most common pieces are, and today we're going to review them with you. So I know that a lot of you are in an academic program. I'm going to go ahead and launch a quick poll here. Just one question this time. Where are you in that program? Are you just starting? Is it still kind of early, halfway through? So let's just take a really brief, 30 seconds or so and see where everybody is in their academic program. It looks like a lot of you are testing in just the next few weeks. So hopefully we can get some of these answered for you right away. We're going to leave it on for just another 10 seconds or so, and then we'll be able to see kind of where we're at. But this, again, helps us to see what you need, right? All right, so we're going to capture that. And if you guys want to see, it looks like the bulk of you are actually testing relatively soon. But a lot of you are kind of halfway early in. So this is going to be a really interesting, hopefully, set of information for everybody today. All right, let's jump in. So the first trick or step is really to understand the exam itself. To understand the exam, I think we should start by reviewing what certification even means. Having an accredited industry certification like those from NHA represent more than just completing a course or program. It proves you've done more. You've gone above and beyond to validate your skills, your knowledge in important core areas of the field you've chosen. Now, this is different than when you finish a program. In that situation, you usually earn a certificate of completion that proves you've completed something. But sitting for the exam and earning your certification gives employers a next level of confidence in you and what you can do. So why is it important? Well, NHA works with employers across the country, and we know that they value candidates who have an industry certification. We see this in that those candidates are more likely to get the job in the first place, often have a higher pay scale, better job security, even pathways for career advancement. Having your certification also tells employers that your skills are credible. It shows that you have a proven set of abilities that will provide them with improved safety and standards of care. And with the growing trend for employees in this space to take on more and more responsibilities, this is a huge benefit to them. So for example, even though a job posting may just say they're looking for a medical assistant or a pharmacy technician, when employers go to screen resumes and applications, having credentials in a national certification will help you stand out. In fact, a recent survey of employers across the country had 91% of them report that they would hire a candidate who has a certification over one who doesn't. Few other items from that survey showed that the most important soft skills that a candidate needed to show were professionalism, critical thinking, dependability, and verbal communication. And critical thinking and dependability were skills that were most often missing in potential candidates. Now, we have some additional resources around developing these that you can also look into, but that's not really the focus of today's presentation. In the last few years, we've seen some other industry trends on hiring and candidate skills. And we know that on average, employers have a hard time locating qualified candidates. There's also been, as I said, an increase in responsibilities for healthcare employees. And on average, candidates lack required EMR skills. Getting your industry certification or even stacking that with an additional certification can provide employers confidence that you are equipped to do the job at hand. Having your certification when you complete your program doesn't just help you get your foot in the door, but can also help you earn more income. Of those interviewed, the majority of employers confirmed they will increase candidate pay when or if they earn that professional certification. That same survey showed that 86% of employers either require or highly encourage that their staff earn an industry certification. And 62% of the HR teams use whether you have one in a screening process prior to hire. So how do you want your resume to be seen? Another great benefit is that NHA is actually actively working with the American Council on Education, also called ACE. And we've just been approved for some of our certifications to also provide transferable college credits through a program called Credly. Now, we're working on getting all of our certifications set up this way, so keep your eye on the website. But understanding what a certification is and understanding the test itself are different things. So to help, I want to talk about the test plan. This is the blueprint or the outline of the exam itself. It provides an overview of the topics and concepts that you will be tested on, as well as the number of questions and items on the exam related to those topics. Knowing how this works is a huge part of preparation. So now all of our test plans are available on the website and are also included in our study materials. Just locate the certification you're studying for and you'll be able to download a free copy of that test plan. But how am I going to be scored on the exam, right? That's a big question. Well, revisiting the test plan outline, you should know that everyone who tests in a certain exam follows the same blueprint. The scored items outline a series of skills that will be on the test itself. There will also be questions that we don't score, and you're not going to know which ones those are. So be sure to answer all of the questions to the best of your ability. Now, every student who takes this test follows the test plan, but not every student may have the same questions. So to fairly score each person across a variety of possible questions, these are reviewed through a bunch of different levels. So difficulty, or how hard is the question? Frequency, or how often in your role are you going to have to do this thing? Urgency, how important is it that you get it right the first time? Some things you might not do a lot, but if you get it wrong, it can be really bad. These are just some of the layers that are used when we set that score. So no matter what, the maximum score that you can get on an exam is 500. So that means 500 would be a perfect score. Every test has the option of getting 500 points. The minimum passing score that you need to earn your certification is 390 or higher. So even if you missed by just 1 point, like a 389, for example, that doesn't really mean that you missed just one question, but that you didn't quite make the minimum required score after all of your questions were reviewed. But how do you know if you're eligible to take one of these accredited exams? Well, NHA's website has a short eligibility quiz that you can take that will ask you just a couple questions and see if you have the minimum requirements to take any of NHA's 8 accredited exams. You can also read more about it in the candidate handbook to make sure all of your questions are answered. But there's more than one option, basically, to gain eligibility to test, either through successfully completing an accredited or state recognized training program in the last 5 years, or recent work experience. This is a full year of consistent work in that role in the last 3 years. In most cases, successfully completing your academic program should be all you need to help you meet the minimum requirements to test for NHA certification exam. Again, if you have more questions on that, review the candidate handbook. For anyone who is looking to take one of NHA's exams, you may not have yet earned your high school diploma or GED. You may be eligible for something called a provisional certification. All of the information you need on this is in that candidate handbook. This is the source for all of that information. But basically, it means someone who does not yet have their high school diploma or GED. Now, NHA does not have an age requirement, though many employers may, and some state licensures might. You will want to do a little bit of research for your unique situation. But for almost all of our candidates, those who are within 1 year of completing that high school diploma or GED is sufficient to sit for the exam. This is not applicable for the pharmacy technician. You have to be within 60 days of graduating. So if any of you out there are in high school or any of this space, just be aware, juniors, for example, right? Provisional certification earns you a 1-year non-renewable credential that you can upgrade when you graduate. So within that year, once you get your diploma or GED, you submit that information to NHA, and then it will level up to the remaining time from the exam date for your full 2-year certification. So anybody in that space, there's more information in the candidate handbook. Okay, step 2 on our checklist is knowing when to get started. Well, if we follow you from the start of your program all the way through to completion, this first step is for you to create your candidate account as early as you can. That doesn't mean you have to start studying right away, but getting your login set up and starting to understand what's available to you in the NHA website is really important. In fact, students who create their accounts early tend to be more likely to actually earn their NHA certification. So let's ask a quick question out here, right? Who of you out there has already got your NHA account set up? I know some of you are still kind of early in your program. Who hasn't done this yet? Just wanted to see sort of where everybody was. So we'll leave this open for just a minute and see if we can get everybody in here. All right. Lots of answers. This is great. Just give you about 5 more seconds and we'll close up that poll. If you haven't answered already, go ahead and do it. All right, so it looks like 95% of you have already made your accounts. Stellar. Great job, everybody. That's great news. Fantastic. So on that, so hopefully some of this might be review, but if for those of you who haven't already created your account, you just go to our website, nhanow.com, and get started. Now, if you've ever created an account before, don't make a new one. We have a live chat tool. Our client care team can help you reset that, get back into it, and also be sure that you select the appropriate organization if you're tied to an employer or a school. We want to make sure that all of this is set up the best way possible. But even for those of you who currently have your account, there's a couple of best practices that we would recommend that you have in that account. The first is that the email address that you have for your login is one that you'll check frequently, not just while you're enrolled in school, but one that you will continue to check after you complete your program. Also, be sure to make note of what your password is. To keep your information as secure as possible, those passwords have some pretty specific requirements. So be sure that you can remember yours. You can't reset a password in the middle of your exam or right during an exam situation. So it's a really good idea to have one that you remember. The other thing is to be sure that the name on your candidate account is your legal name. Whatever is on your government issued photo ID. This is what they use on exam day to verify you. And if your account name doesn't match, they might not let you test. And that would sort of stink. So we definitely want to make sure that those are set up in advance. Once you do get set up with your account, NHA will start to bring you important reminders about different parts of your learning journey, including what to do before your exam, as well as what comes once you've earned your certification. So keep an eye in that inbox for these reminders, how-to resources, and best practices. Not only do we see that candidates who start with NHA early more likely to earn their certifications, but a recent survey of over 6,000 candidates showed us that on average, they wished they had studied with NHA's materials earlier and more frequently than they did prior to testing for their certification, which leads us to step 3, the online study materials. Okay, so we know that across the country, students who use these resources and follow best practices when studying along with their program course content have a much higher possibility of passing the exam in their first attempt. Now, the prep materials are based on the test plans we were just talking about. The full prep package includes an online study guide and a series of practice tests that have personalized reporting tools and a unique study tool called the focused review. Now, many programs provide these through the tuition cost, but not all. So whether you choose to purchase these yourself or if it's provided through your program, once you have them, you can access them through your My Courses or My Materials links on your NHA account. If this is being provided through your program, check with your instructor as to when to expect them so you can get started as soon as you can. Now, remember, we'll be sending you reminders, walkthroughs, how-tos, as well as emails on next steps. These even include resources on what to expect on test day and troubleshooting guides. These are all on your website for you to get when you need them, but we'll be sending them to you as well. So to follow NHA's best practices, we would suggest that you start with your study guide first, working all the way through each lesson before taking the module quiz. The online study guide has a lot of amazing features, so we're going to talk through just some of them. It's broken into categories or sections, each one tied to one area from your exam. It's not enough to just study this by itself. You definitely need to have either the other eligibility pieces for your academic program or work experience, but this is a really great way to help. You can have access to activities, games, quizzes, checkpoints, and again, a total of 6 practice test attempts. There are also glossary terms, flashcards, even a series of professionalism videos, a huge help in understanding what's expected of you in your new role. And not just can you do the job, but are you a good employee? Right? This is a big question. So once you've worked through the lesson, then you should take the quiz tied to that chapter and see how much you remember. These are designed to look and feel just like the online exam, as well as practice tests, but are focused on just this one competency, so you can see how ready you are to move on. And we won't just tell you if you get the question wrong or right, we'll provide the information behind it so you can see why it was right or wrong, right? So you can understand which one was the most correct answer. Once you've gone all the way through your study guide, it's time to take your certification practice assessment, right? It's your first NHA practice test. Now, the practice tests that you have access to are designed to look and feel exactly like the entire exam. You're taken through several different test versions with a total of 6 test attempts, but just because you get a bunch of tries doesn't mean you should take them all right away and try to memorize questions. These are designed to help you prepare to study for your exam. Each of the 6 attempts are just like that full exam, but don't expect that these questions are going to be on the test. The content will, but the questions, probably not. They are designed to follow that whole test plan, but will give you feedback, reporting, additional tools to help you study. If you are with an academic program, your instructor might turn off instant feedback to help you prepare so you can get a real exam experience, right? So it is important not that you take all 6 practice tests, but that you study in between. So even though you get a total of 6, we really recommend that at least 4 of them are what you take prior to sitting for your actual certification test. So here's a recap of step 3 in your timeline, which is to obtain the NHA exam prep materials to start studying as soon as you can in your program. Again, many schools provide these with tuition, but not all, so talk to your instructor. From here, we recommend that you work through the online study guide and quizzes, using this material strategically with your course content, instructor's guidance, right, to help bridge the gap between your schoolwork and the NHA exam requirements. When you're ready, take that first practice test in as close to a real exam experience as possible. Along with your practice tests and to help you with your studying, before your NHA exam is something called the focused review, which is step 4, using your review and reporting. The focused review is a different study tool that comes along with each practice test to each personalized report, right? So you get a practice test, a personalized report, and a focused review to help study in between each attempt. We want you to go back and review before taking the next practice test. So every practice test or quiz that you take will give you a personalized score to see how you did in each kind of core area. You're not going to be told what question you missed, but what competencies to work on. This is to be sure you go back and actually study on those areas, not just memorize questions. From here, you can immediately launch that focused review, and it will help you study things you still need to work on. You can always come back and launch it again. It's not a one-time thing. It's available for you whenever you need it. So this is a new study tool specific to you on this one practice test attempt. It helps make sure that you're studying further, right? Don't shy away from reviewing your mistakes. The best way to improve your score is challenging yourself to learn the information you just haven't mastered yet. This is filterable and printable, so you can go back and highlight areas or spend time in competencies that you know you need more work on. But this is a really key piece of your studying. We see students that use this definitely have a higher potential score on that exam. So along with your score reports, you also get additional reporting about your first module or quiz or any of those other items. So to view your reporting for both your study guide and practice tests, select the module or report you want to view, and you'll be taken to a personalized overview of what you've completed, how long you've spent, what your score was. Your practice tests work the exact same way. Starts with detailed information of your overall score, how long it took you, and then moves into the main core areas. This is the outline of the test plan. You can see how you scored in those areas. And if you scroll down, you'll see all the topics that you missed at least one question on from that practice test attempt. Now, this isn't the focused review. Remember, that's something you launched to help you work through this list. This is an outline of the areas we would suggest you study. Now, some of our study materials also have a special progress tracker that helps you in a more interactive reporting tool. We're working on getting this out to everybody. It's not there yet, but if you have that, you can use some personalized reports that it helps you kind of track what you're doing. So this will help you identify where you've spent your time, how much time we would suggest you spend in each module. It will also link you back to the study guide. Your practice test will be monitored. You can see your score, how much time we'd suggest you spend in your focused review, a direct link to the review right from here. And you will also see how your exam outcome compared to the national average for that practice test, which will change as you go through these different practice test attempts. The Content Focus tab will show you your recent practice test outcome, organized in the areas you scored lowest in at the top. Opening up any of these tabs gives you more information on those core competencies, and clicking on them will take you into your focused review. And then over on the left-hand side, you'll see a usage summary, giving you a one-page overview of what you've done, how you've scored, your time spent across all of the material. Okay, so that was a lot of great information, right? We're talking about the prep materials. I got another question I just want to put out there just to see who was listening, true or false. NHA practice assessments create a focused review and reporting features specific to each individual person. True or false? What do you think? Ding, 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 ding. Do the practice assessments generate the focused review unique to each individual candidate and each individual practice assessment? I'm going to let that sit for another 5 seconds. Get in now while you can. Ending in 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, guys. So resoundingly, almost everybody said yes, which is the true answer. So good job, you guys. Some people might have come late. That's cool. But thank you so much for joining me on that. The focused review comes after each practice assessment. So you get 6 of them. Very exciting stuff. All right. Hopefully a running theme through all of this has been to plan ahead. I can't stress how important this is enough, right? All this studying and hard work takes time. Knowing what to do and when to do it is an important piece of making sure your exam day is successful. Surprises are great when it's your birthday, but not when you're taking an exam, right? So when we're talking about studying, some of this planning ahead means preparing over a period of time, not just the week before. Real learning takes dedication. It helps to start by establishing study goals and sticking to them. Set certain times each day that you take a bite out of the study. Nobody expects you to do this overnight. Studying on your own is essential, but it can also be really helpful to have a study group. You remember things differently when you work through it together, and it can help. Group study helps for you to teach concepts you're comfortable with to others and vice versa. So another piece of this is applying for your exam as early as you can. There are usually program requirements for you to meet, but the last thing you want is to miss an application deadline. So be sure to apply for that test as soon as you are able. Ideally, this means at least 2 weeks before your test date, preferably earlier than that. For anyone testing on site at your institution, exam registration closes 1 week before the test date. So you do not want to miss that, right? Register as soon as you can. If you're testing with PSI or through our remote proctored exam, your applications expire if you don't test within 6 months. So there's a limit to how early you should apply, but you definitely want to get it scheduled as soon as you can, right? That's kind of the key thing there. No matter if you're testing on or off-site, applying for the exam, if you haven't done it yet, is simple to complete. It's designed to be user-friendly, guiding you through all of the steps. There's a green checkbox at the top that tells you when you've gone through each step. The same goes for scheduling off-site exams. So if you're testing with PSI, our third-party testing company, and you want to be sure to get those scheduled, you just go into your login at nhanow.com and get it done. We have lots of additional tools to help with this exam success. So much of being prepared is looking these over in advance, including doing any technology checks on computer, revisiting your test plan to make sure you're ready, and we have resources to help you with all of this. So planning ahead also includes being sure you know your NHA login and password. So in the days right before the exam, be sure to check that you know these without your computer saving them for you, right? You're not going to be on the same computer you've been studying with, so they won't have those saved login information pieces, and you can't reset your password during the exam. The last thing you want is to show up to the test on exam day and not be able to test because you can't log in. So double check that kind of those couple days before the test. The final trick for a successful exam day is knowing what to expect to help with any additional test anxiety or nerves. I have severe test anxiety, so this is a really important thing that I learned that helps me if I am prepared. So assemble everything you need the night before your exam: ID, pencil, watch, set your alarm to be sure you arrive early. You will feel better knowing you're ready to go. Don't cram the day before the exam. Don't do it. Last minute study sessions actually tend to increase test anxiety, which doesn't help with your ability to actually take the test. And I know this might sound silly, but getting a good night's sleep and eating a healthy meal can really help your body to feel prepared. So does staying positive, making sure the things you're saying to yourself are kind. Scientifically, it's been proven you remember bad things about yourself easier than good things. So fill your mind with the thought that you can do this. It really will help. No matter how or where you're testing, be early. Testing on site at your institution still means you should show up early. Be prepared. Know the room you're testing in, when the exam is supposed to start. If you're testing at a PSI testing center, know where you're going. Allow extra time for traffic, parking, getting actually into the center or building. If you're testing through any remote proctoring, ensure your computer is compatible and your test space is ready. We have resources to help you with this, no matter what your testing method, but these are key pieces to make sure that you are prepared for that exam. Now, during the exam itself, right? This is important. Don't get discouraged if you don't know an answer, but don't skip it. There will be, as I said earlier, a few questions that we don't score, and you're not going to know which ones those are. So if you're unsure, rule out any wrong answers first and use your knowledge to answer to the best of your ability. If you want, bookmark it to review at the end if there's time. It is a timed test, so it's important that you get all the way through, but pace yourself. Read each question thoroughly. Watch out for those where it says, which of these is not, for example, or the all of the above answer choices. If you can clearly eliminate one answer choice, then you also would know that all of the above answer choice is wrong. And there is always one correct answer. So read all of the answers before picking yours. Even if it looks like there's more than one correct answer, only one is the most correct answer. So with all of these resources available, how do we make sure your exam day is a great one? Well, let's revisit the timeline now that we've gone all the way through. Start by creating your NHA login if you haven't already. The sooner you get this set up, the better. NHA has seen, again, students who register early in their programs have a higher probability of not only taking their exam, but also doing well on that test. So now is the right time if you haven't done it yet. If you can, or if your program is providing it, get access to the study materials as soon as possible. Remember, over 6,000 certification holders said they wished that they had done this. So you use that knowledge, right? Get going. On that, following good study habits is an important part of your process. With the NHA materials, we do recommend you go through the study guide first, using it to help you understand what we're going to test you on. And then when the time is right, start taking those practice tests. These follow the full exam test plan, so use them to see how you do if this was the exam day right now. Don't just use them to memorize questions. That's where the focused review comes in. Use it and your program materials to study in between each of those practice tests. Be sure to apply for your exam as early as you can, at least 2 weeks before the exam date, if not sooner. You have to apply 7 days before the test date to be sure everything is ready to go for exam day. So get that done as soon as you can. The day before the test, be sure you know your login email and password. You can't reset that password the day of, so please make sure you double check it, right? You don't want to get stuck in a testing center and not be able to log in. Remember to show up early on exam day. Plan ahead for traffic, parking. Then you can finally take the NHA accredited certification exam and earn your industry certification to become NHA certified. To help you with all of this, we have candidate resources you'll be getting through email reminders directly from us, hopefully at specific times through your journey. They'll cover reminders on when to do different things, as well as how-tos that we'll be sending out to you. They are available for you at any time through your login. Right now, it's in a Find Helpful Resources blue button right from your login. We also have a blog space, a job board, even podcasts you can listen to, all available at any time through the NHA website, which we're going to update pretty soon to make it even easier for you to get these things. So expect that sometime in the next few weeks, hopefully, you're going to actually have some of these things just right at your fingertips. Bonus tip, want to know what happens once you get certified? Well, once you pass your exam, keep going. There are other ways to further your career path. Stack your certifications with other industry certifications. We have an e-records that you might already be eligible for, the e-record certification. Visit our job board. Employers across the country are looking for qualified candidates and they're having a hard time. Visit the job board. Watch our blog space where we have interview resources, job search tips, our podcast, as I mentioned. It's also important to remember your certifications don't last forever. You need to keep them updated by completing continuing education credits, which you can do through your NHA login or upload completed coursework from your employer or program. Remember those skills developers that Susan was talking about earlier? Earning and completing some of these can actually count as credits towards your renewal. So even though you may be early in your program, not ready yet to get into the study materials or somewhere in the middle, there are things you can be working on in the meantime to help you stand out. That are some optional learning tools available include those soft skills and professionalism development through personability and principles of health coaching. They can actually apply towards your continuing education. But do you remember earlier those specific things that employers were looking for? Professionalism, critical thinking, dependability. These can help you with that. We also have medical terminology or anatomy and physiology learning tools, key building blocks of understanding the health field. And even content on medical math, calculations, and dosaging. So these are all out available on the website. So once you've earned your certification, go online, post the hashtag NHA certified. We want to hear your story. We highly recommend you make a LinkedIn profile if you haven't already. Employers will Google you. So make sure that they see you have your certification. Put them after your name and your email. Make sure it's on your resume. Make it very, very clear that you are certified. Remember, 91% of employers prefer a certified candidate. Talk to career services teams at your school for more help. And don't forget to bookmark our website so you can go back and access this content whenever you need. Here's just one example of one of those candidate testimonials. We really do love hearing from you. It's not a joke that working in healthcare is hard, but it is incredibly rewarding. And we are so proud of all of you for taking this first step. You're not just going to be changing your life, but the lives of the people around you. They see your hard work. They see your dedication, what you're putting into this. It really will make a difference. We've got lots of these inspiring testimonials on our YouTube channel. I can't wait to see yours there someday. So in just a moment, we're going to get to some Q&A, but before we do, anyone who can't stick with us through to the Kahoot game, you may still be eligible for that one gift card. So I think they're going to post the survey link in the chat box. You will also be getting this in a follow-up email, also at the end of today's webinar. Remember that today's session is being recorded. So anyone who registered has to follow off. You'll be getting that information afterwards. But now let's go ahead. If you guys are ready, we're going to play Kahoot. We've got some time here. So if you've never done this before, if you haven't downloaded the Kahoot app, go ahead and do that now. It is free to download on any mobile device. But if you can't do that, go ahead and open up a second browser and go to kahoot.it. So the top 3 winners of today's game are going to be eligible for gift cards as well. So hopefully you guys were listening. Let's go ahead and bring this over here. So if you have it open, go ahead and this is your PIN up at the top, 7105289. So either you can do the Kahoot app or kahoot.it. Look, there's Meg. Oh, great. People are starting to pop in. So we'll leave this open for just a second. I know we got a bunch of people on here. After Kahoot, we're going to get into some open Q&A. So we've been capturing your questions in chat. We've been capturing your questions in the Q&A. We're going to try to address as many of them as we can live, and we'll hopefully get you some additional information afterwards. So if you can't get logged in right now, know that once we move into the game, the pin that you see up here is in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. So you'll be able to log in if you get kicked out or something happens. Okay, so we got a lot of people on here. I've never played a Kahoot with this many people before. This is amazing. Okay, so if you don't know what Kahoot is, it is a game of speed and accuracy. So the question is going to be up on the screen, as will the answers. And the first person to answer correctly will get more points than the second person to answer correctly. So if you're on your phone or something on this game, that you answer from your phone. So you want to make sure you can kind of see everything, but oh gosh, there's a lot of people here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If anyone is trying to get in, we want to respect everybody's time. We don't want to run out of time. We've got over 100 people on this. Susan, how do you think we should go ahead and wait for just a second, or what do you want to do here? We've got 125 folks.
It looks like it's slowing down, so let's give it another minute so everybody has a shot to join, since we've told everybody they can. So we don't want to leave anybody out of the fun. It looks like we have a lot of people who know what Kahoot is and are anxious to join.
So much fun. This is such a great game.
Why don't I answer a question for you while we give people some time?
Go for it.
So one of the most common questions we had is there a recording available So I just want to reiterate again that we are going to share a recording with everybody who registered and attended today's webinar. A recording will come to you by email, and it will also be on our website. So you will get an email that will come directly to your inbox that will have a link to the recording of this webinar. So you will be able to watch this again if you had any questions.
Again and again and again, right? As many times as you want.
Many times as you want. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, if you didn't get a chance to log in, keep trying. And the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, that pin is going to be listed, so you'll be able to see it there. We're going to go ahead and get this cracker started here. All right, so Kahoot, again, speed and accuracy. It's all based on what we just went over. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so how soon should I have an NHA login? As soon as possible in my program, the week before my exam, if I receive the study materials at the end of my program. What do you think? How soon should you have your NHA login? We got 6 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right, guys, as soon as possible. That's right. Great job. Excellent work. And let's see where we're at. So you can see it's about speed and accuracy, like Jazzy and Aaron, they're right up there, but High's got 2 points above, right? Okay. Multiple choice. You can pick more than one answer in this one. How can I know if I'm eligible to take the exam? I can take an online quiz. If I finish my recognized training program, I can read the candidate handbook for information. If I've worked a full year in the role. So you can pick more than one answer here. Let's go ahead and get that going. Oh, boom. Guess what? Trick question, all of the above. So if you were one of those really smart people that picked every single one of them, you got like quadruple points. So great job, you guys. Let's see how we did. Boom, look at that. Mallory, way to take the lead. Okay, all right, I see how you play. Let's see what's next. Again, a multi-select, now you know how it works. What of these is included in the NHA study materials? Study guide, scored quizzes, personalized reporting, or practice assessments that follow the test plan. I think you guys know how this works now, right? Let's see how it goes. This is so fun. Look at those answers come in. 2, 1, and boom. Okay, this is going to be an insane number of points. Okay, let's see how this goes. All of the above. Hopefully you guys got that. And what? Almost 8,000 points, Aaron. Way to do. Let's see here. Okay, 4 of 7. When should I apply for the NHA exam? As soon as possible, no later than 1 week before, as soon as I'm done with my program, on the first day of my program, or when I've taken my first practice test. When should you apply for the exam itself? What do you think? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. What do you think? That's right. Good job. The bulk of you got the one correct. As soon as possible. No later than a week before because registration will close by that point. So good job. Okay, Erin is keeping her lead, but Kyra has stepped in. Let's see, multiple choice. What % of employers said they preferred to hire a certified candidate? 88%, 61%, 91%, or 55%? I said this one like 3 times, so let's see if you remember. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Ah, good job. 91% of employers would pick a candidate with a certification over one without. All right, Kyra took the lead. Okay, let's see. We only got 2 questions left. True or false, earning my certification could also earn me college credit. This was right in the beginning, so if you missed it, sorry about that. Can earning my certification earn me college credit? Yes or no? What do you think? 3, 2, 1. Boom. It actually can. It depends on the certification right now, but we are potentially able to get you transferable college credit for earning that certification. Very exciting. Oh my gosh, no board change on that one. Woo! Okay, last question, everybody. After earning my certification, I should post my story with the hashtag NHA certified. True or false? What do you think? Should have done one more of those like multiple choice ones by this point, really kick everything up. Waiting on a couple more folks. Let's see, hopefully I get the answer that I want here. Bing, true. We want to hear from you. We love hearing from you. It's so exciting to us when we actually do. So let's see how in third place, winning a gift card, Janelle. Excellent job, Janelle. In second place, Sarah BP. And in first place, $50 gift card goes to Kyra. Okay, so I need each of you to message just to hosts and panelists your information, your email address. So Susan, is that the best way to do that?
Yep, if they would just go ahead and send that in the chat or in Q&A, just send me your email address, your name and your email address, and I will get a gift card out to you. I've got your names written down.
Congratulations, you guys. Great game, seriously. So great job. So at this point now, we do have some time still for open questions. What were kind of the most running other questions besides, is this being recorded? Yes, it is being recorded.
Yep, it definitely is being recorded. If one of the panelists would drop the link to the survey back into chat for everybody, please be sure and answer that survey before checking out for the day. Remember, we've got another $50 gift card from a drawing for whoever answers the survey questions about the webinar itself. Thank you guys for joining us. We do have a couple questions, Laura, that were common. Yeah. One of them was how practice test scores relate to certification scores. And a lot of what we saw was percentages. People are thinking that like a 72 to 76 is bad, but we know that that's not necessarily true at all. So can we talk about practice test assessment scores?
Definitely. So you remember we talked about the test plan and how you're going to be scored isn't just about how accurate you are, though that's going to win, right? Getting more right is always better. But on the actual certification exam, your answers are weighted based off of a variety of different pieces. The practice tests are not. That is just a clean percentage of correct through that content. So it could be that you get a really hard question on your NHA exam, so it's weighted a little bit differently. We can't give you a perfect score on a practice test to aim for because of that weighted scale. But the higher, the better. But honestly, you know, I've seen students with nailing those practice tests have a bad day and bomb that exam. And I've seen students like kind of squeaking through, but have a great day and get that certification. But they aren't related in how we're assessing you other than accuracy, but it is the exact same blueprint. So understanding how well you're doing, you know, I would like to think that if I only got 50% of a practice test correct, probably not ready to test, you know, kind of depends on the scenario. So work with your instructor, work with, if you're doing this through an employer, work with your manager, whomever you're doing it through, to work on those skills that you're scoring the lowest in. The other thing about that test plan, take note of the sections. Some sections are bigger than others. Off the top of my head, for example, I know that in the medical assisting exam, there are only 7 or 8 questions on EKG, but something like 40 questions on clinical patient care. So maybe we should work on that area. It's different pieces about just being smart about that. We've got some great blog posts also about how your exams are going to be scored, which are out on our website. I don't know if we have those, Susan, to share, but understanding how to read your test plan. Does that answer that question, or did I go down a rabbit hole?
Yeah, I think that answered the question. I think I would respond to that even further by saying part of the amazing resources that you have with NHA is reports that will also tell you your readiness for the exam. So be sure to not just look at a percentage score, but to use the NHA reporting resources, which will tell you if you are ready to sit for one of our certifications. And your instructor or a person at NHA can also help you with that in interpreting those reports. Another question that came up that was common across all exams is how many questions are on the exam, what might be tested. So a good place to go is nhanow.com. Our website will have what is called a test blueprint, and it will tell you everything from the number of questions to the topics being tested. Laura's going to show you where it is right now. And we'll tell you how long the exam is. So
I'm going into just the medical assisting. It was the one at the top. And this is your landing page. It tells you a bunch of different information about it. As you scroll down, you can see information around the certification, check your eligibility if you want to. And then down here, steps to apply for your exam. But as you keep scrolling down, you right here, download the free test plan. It's free. So for example, for the medical assisting exam, there are 150 scored items. And remember, I said there are some we won't score. That's what this means, 30 pre-test, but they're not just the first 30. They're going to be popcorn throughout the whole thing. So 30 non-scored questions, maximum time of 3 hours for this exam. And then this one, because it's so big, this is our biggest one, there's a one-page summary of this plan that takes you to even more information about how many questions in each area there are going to be. So for example, these first 5 areas are 5 different modules of the study guide, and combined, they're only going to be 15 questions on the exam. So just take that into account when you're looking at it. So all of these are out on the website, ready for you to download whenever you need.
All right, so we just have 3 minutes left. So I'm going to take what I think is one of the most important questions and go ahead and answer that for the group. So one of the questions that came up really directly, but a theme I saw a lot on Q&A and chat is, I'm a bad test taker. How do I do well on the NHA certification? And I will tell you, yes, we all feel that way. I have been working with students at NHA and with other exams like the medical licensure exam to become a doctor in the United States and a dentist in the United States. And I will tell you that no matter what the education level or the exam that students are preparing for, everybody thinks they're a bad test taker. And really what it comes down to is preparing for the exam with the correct preparation resources and having confidence in yourself. Preparation and confidence and how you talk to yourself are the 2 keys to helping you be successful. Everybody thinks that they're a bad test taker. Most of us just need to learn how to take tests better and to have confidence in the ways that we're preparing for the exam. And that's one of the great things about the resources that NHA provides you. So with that said, we know there's still a lot of questions, or there's a couple questions we still need to get to. There's chat, but we want to go ahead and wrap up today. Again, we're going to send you that recording. We've posted a link to the survey. We would love to get your feedback on this webinar so we can know how to best continue to provide information directly to our candidates. And we really appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you again for joining. Leave us those survey results and we will follow with the recording. And Laura, thank you for all the information you shared. Have a great night.
Good luck, everybody. Good luck on your tests.